I need you
Did I
to.
tell you about that?
No.
I
So
need you to bring up
You
your
get one.
volume.
when we bought
You guys get flipped and kiss. No.
Keith. That's another meme we quote at work all the time. The Mike Tyson with the two pigeons. He's like, now Keith.
There's this guy I listen to. His handle is Wendigoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think.
Yeah, it was funny. He got recommended to us at the exact same time. Our algorithms are locked in.
No, he thinks that. I've been listening to this man for at least 3 years.
Our algorithms locked in it.
Our cycles have synced.
Yes.
Because I also, too, know about Wendigoon.
We're ovulating at the same time. We share so much shit between each other. It's funny because the shit you send me, I just immediately sent her. I hope you know that. Like, it's immediately getting recycled or forwarded.
That's
as long as
awesome.
it's not big anime titty
Right.
bitches. Like, I'm like, Tori would love
Sometimes.
this.
If Tori would like this a little too much.
Oh no. Whenever he's like talking about stuff because YouTube and like, getting whatever, he'll be like, and then they kick. Welcome to Beansplaining. I am your host, Tori, and I have 2 co-hosts today. It's pretty big numbers for me. You guys, you want to introduce yourselves or?
No.
No one needs to know who I am.
I'm the recurring guest, Patrick.
Yeah, you're just a guest. It's not like we're married or anything.
Yeah, I'm just a guest. This is her world. We're just living in it.
I'd love to hear it.
The notorious guy who just doesn't finish a whole lot of books and likes to watch movies.
You've been finishing a lot of books lately.
Yeah, I've been cheating, but, I'm still absorbing the information, not with my eyes, but my ears. Been using Audible a lot lately.
You've been freebasing books.
I've been
Oh, yeah.
basing books. Started doing it here lately, and I just can't stop. So,
Just like cocaine.
Yeah, now addicted. It's a problem. But I've been consuming a lot of books.
Honestly, that's all I've ever wanted out of life is to infect as many people as possible with the reading gene.
And hi, I'm Anonymous. Nice to meet you all out there in the listening world.
Would you like to say anonymous?
No, my name's Kody.
Nice.
Yes.
So, Kody and Patrick, we just finished watching Backrooms. We're going to say for research purposes, but
it's more to just get me specifically caught up on some of the lore.
It's also just a really good fucking movie.
Yeah, I think me and Tori actually went and saw this in theaters when it released. I think we didn't say it released night, did we? Yeah, we went to go see Backrooms opening night, and me and her both really enjoyed it. She has a different perception of it beforehand. She had a prior kind of development into the environment and creepypastas and all the lore and everything of this like great world that's been created for the Backrooms. Yeah,
which I definitely want to talk a little bit more about. And I'm not an expert by any means, but I have seen a bit more than you guys.
Sure.
And so I want to talk about what I think versus like what you guys have seen.
Yeah. And well, so I think me and Kody actually came into it. He didn't see it until tonight, which was probably about a month ago that it got released. So I've had a month to sit on it, and then I also rewatched it with them. But me and him initially, before I saw the movie and before he saw the movie, were at the same foundational level of the understanding of the Backrooms, which I think is a very common amount of knowledge for most people in our generation to have of the Backrooms. It's a very just foundational, like, yeah, we know this is a room that looks like maybe a memory that you have, or it's common for everybody. It's a maze. Those kind of common trends. It's attached to our dimension, but not maybe nobody really knows. It's kind of shrouded in a mist because it's community created. It's an idea that's been flourished by a bunch of different creators. That's my understanding of it. It's very, very foundational before I saw the movie, and more or less kind of the same thing with Kody from my understanding.
Yeah. I mean, basically my very cursory glance at it, like I'd watched, a bunch of YouTube videos and kind of got the vibe of what the Backrooms is and was intrigued, but I didn't really delve too deeply into like the lore because there's so much of it. And frankly, I didn't at the time feel like going that deep.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the difference between jumping in between like a canon Star Wars movie and like Star Wars Legends,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because there's just like so much shit that could potentially overlap or contradict one another that it's kind of overwhelming.
And it's hard to learn, or it's hard to find out where to begin.
Well, hey, let's talk about the beginnings. So, first of all, liminal, the word, has been around for a good... Oh, hey, wait a minute. Hold up. This is beansplaining, and while we can definitely talk about movies, that's not necessarily my forte. My forte is books. So, today's book is The Yellow Wallpaper. Specifically, sort of, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins, but also sort of by Kane Parsons, and we'll talk more about what that means in a little bit. I just wanted the listeners to know that's what book we're talking about today. But there's a
Are
little
the two authors in the room with us now?
I can't confirm nor deny. No, I'm just kidding. The room would be a lot cooler. Instead, we just have us.
That's fair.
Also, the original was written in the 1800s, so pretty sure if she's in the room with us, it's a ghost.
Cool.
Or vampire. So,
Oh, okay.
Either way, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Little spooky, but awesome.
I really like the vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are in the right headspace. So, the beginnings. Liminal, that's a word, been used for a long time, whatever, sort of. I don't know. Whenever I was growing up, I never really heard the word liminal that often. Maybe you guys did.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when the word liminal made it into like a common lexicon.
Well, I know that it's tossed around a lot when we talk about the Backrooms. I want to say that it first came out on Reddit. Could have been 4chan, but I'm pretty sure it was a Reddit board. Someone had posted a picture of the quintessential yellow wallpapered room that looks like it goes on for entirely too long. And they wrote a little snippet about the memory of a place, and it just resonated with a lot of people. That is the first iteration of the Backrooms. It's just a photo. And people actually found where that photo was taken. It's a real photo of a real place.
It's really weird.
It's really weird. Don't make fun of my list. I'm missing a tooth.
really real.
I'm sorry. I'm trying my best.
The Whackworms.
Rap room.
Much dedicated wham.
Stupid. God damn it. So, we have this idea that is... you guys.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put in my tooth. Don't play with me.
At least you don't talk like Herbert, dude. If you were like whistling while you're talking, I'd be like, please stop, dude.
Okay, for anyone who's curious, I'm missing one tooth, and so my voice may sound a little strange, but I'm trying my best. So we have that first photo that kind of introduces the idea into the zeitgeist, and then we have people running with it, right? So creepypasta, people thinking, oh, it's a cool idea, making art about it, making comments about it, whatever gets kind of put out there. It's not crazy, but people also talk about like, oh, there's another thing. We'll get into that. But people talk about how there's so many pictures that they'll see online, or maybe they'll go to a place and they'll feel like they've been there before, even if they haven't. And it'll be like a big group of people that feel this way about a certain, like how something looks. So, do you guys know about I think it's called like the gateway drugs?
I know about that.
It's what's it called? It's called like, it was the gateway something. Hang on. So, either you guys get into like the GATE program when you were children?
The suicide program?
There's a suicide program?
I mean, it didn't. I lived through it, so it didn't work.
This is news to me.
Oh, I'm thinking of that cult. What's it called?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. All right,
No,
my
no,
bad.
no,
Yeah,
no.
completely different.
I would have been 2 to have to be in Heaven's Gate. So
No.
I was more of a sweet tea guy. I didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
Nike.
So, this was like, do you remember, for me and Patrick, it would be more like advanced reader program, sort of.
Oh, you're talking about like Apex or...
That's what we had. You had the GATE program.
Okay. It's elevated academics. So like instead of
They would take you out of class,
They
and
had a term for it. It's failing to come to me right now.
they would be taken out of their classroom, and they would be instructed to do this separate thing that was usually for, like, quote unquote gifted children.
Yeah.
Well, now everyone talks about the, like, shared dreams. So, like, this is a Reddit post, and it was, like, asking people, dreamers of Mallworld, which is just, like, an online term that people have coined, kinda like Backrooms, if they were in the GATE program as a child. And they're talking about, like, was just made aware of the connection between Gifted and Talented program of the 80s and 90s and users reporting shared dreams. I have a couple of threads about the GATE program I will post as comments.
Forgive me for interrupting, but these are generally speaking like the part of the school in the back where they put up these temporary buildings that were like trailers, and they never were temporary. They were always permanently there.
Well, there's those, but different people had different experiences. So my experience was they would take you, like, just put your desk, like, outside of the classroom and give you, like, different paperwork. Or they would make you read different things. Or you would go on a field trip that was pretty unique to what other people were doing.
So not just like a trip to the Pink Palace.
The comments on this thread are like, those classrooms were neurodivergent experimentation labs. Then someone responds and says, stop this nonsense. And then another comment says, both my brother and I were in it. He is also a Mallworlder, academics and art. Only this was early to mid 80s. We attended throughout primary school. Yeah. But the thing is, like, when you try to look, so this person says theirs was called Tag.
It's really bothering me that I can't remember what the term they used for it was. But it started with an L. I feel like it had the word light in it, but it wasn't a lighthouse. It's killing me. If it comes to me, I'll just shout it out randomly.
That's fair.
But
so you were saying,
Terrifying.
were you reading the rest of the responses to the GATE Mallworlders connection?
Well, to that Reddit post. So, but that was like one post, but it was kind of hard for me to find. Like, in some circles, I've found a lot more information on the internet. In some circles, I don't. If you start looking up like gifted programs for kids involving like dreams and stuff, you're going to get like a bunch of ads basically for, hey, is your child gifted? Which, cool, but not what we're looking for. I don't know. The internet really sucks nowadays.
Tell me about it.
But
Need more data centers.
So
I do want to point out though the Mallworld that we were talking about, that everyone's like, I've been here. This is like a collective map. What all these same kids are dreaming about.
The dreamscape?
It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
It does.
Where the fuck is he?
It's so the reason I bring this part up is because Mallworld and the Backrooms are like intertwined. That's very like the lore for both are very
Similar.
same vibes, because the thing is, you go into Mallworld and it's like the mall version. Everyone goes to sleep, they go to Mallworld. This is like a hub and very much looks like the Backrooms. And a lot of people don't see other people. Usually it's just them, but it could be other people. But then as you start leaving Mallworld, you'll go to these other places within like this dreamscape. And most of them are going to look a lot like what you would see in the Backrooms. So I know you've seen me play like a couple of games for the Backrooms.
Yeah.
And you'll get those like giant pool slides that go, they're huge, like the pools that we just saw in the Backrooms.
Right.
That same vibe is what you would see in Mallworld.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of weird. But I mean, it is like an internet phenomena that people are experiencing together.
Yeah, so it's the vibes I'm getting from this is like it should be fun, but it doesn't seem like it'd be fun to be there.
No, it's like it's not hostile, but it seems like people who are experiencing this are not like having a great time. It's a little ominous.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing is liminal spaces don't have to be ominous. A lot of people find comfort in it. A lot of the Backrooms games don't have entities because it's actually more about the comfort of the liminal space than it is spooky scary.
Yeah.
So tell me about your program, your Apex program.
Well, y'all were all talking about these terrible stories if they used to throw my desk out in the hallway and make me do work out there, or like I got put in a portable. We had our own classroom, dude. Like it was literally a classroom just dedicated to Apex stuff. And my teacher would take us in there and it would be all of us and we would do, it was literally like, did you ever play the Train Your Brain games on DS when you were a kid? So they had
I
like,
had Leapfrog.
well, so they had like Sudoku or like certain things that you would do, crossword puzzles, or it was like pattern recognition mixed with strategic board games.
That really does sound like they were testing you for autism.
Well, and it was just you going in and just that's all you did all day.
So they were testing for the autism, superpower autism, not the.
I mean, I'm not kidding.
got
It
killed
literally
for
looked like
autism.
it literally was like the rooms in Stranger Things, the daycare where all the kids are,
Yeah.
or all that shit breaks out. It was like that little playroom, more or less. I mean, I was in elementary school when that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and this is just my rationalization mind, I think my teacher was an alcoholic and she was the Apex teacher. And so she would just take us in there and get drunk while all of us were doing that shit.
Good for her.
That tracks, actually.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, because like we go through all these programs for like gifted kids or whatever, and then you become an adult and you're like, fuck, I'm never gonna get that kind of reward system ever again in my life.
yeah, but that's the thing about it is like we didn't even get anything for doing board games or
No. It was just the vibe of feeling like you are good.
Special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
It's not like you were given a candy every time.
I wonder though, how many of those kids that were just shoved into a hallway with a desk and given extra work were just the annoying kid?
Oh yeah, I did have undiagnosed ADHD, and I, in my younger years, had many reports sent home to my parents about how Tori can't shut up long enough to learn anything.
That was the prognosis for me. Like my mother got pulled into conferences and they would tell her, you know, hey, your son's really smart, but he's not conducive to a good classroom environment.
Well, honestly, classroom environments suck in the first place.
That's true.
Well, it
But
was
he's like daydreaming and you know,
Oh God.
yeah.
well, it was like the opposite. I mean, mine was more close to yours. It wasn't being like disruptive or anything, but it was like if something doesn't strike Patrick's fancy, he cannot do it.
That's literally what they were telling my mom.
Yeah, because they were like, he does really well in some matters, like etymology, which was like pattern recognition for me because
I
it's
think
in.
etymology is bugs.
That's
Entomology.
yeah, that's etymology.
Oh, not bad.
Etymology.
You're thinking of edamame. Just kidding.
Oh, I love edamame.
I love etymology. No, etymology is the study of words and like a word within a word. So like it uses all the
Yeah,
Latin.
like your prefixes.
Yeah, the
and your
prefixes and
suffixes.
dude, that even to this day, like I still use that shit. Like if you're like, what does this word mean? And I'm like, well,
Well,
that's
what's the
that
root of it?
prefix means bad. So it's funny because my brain is now categorized things as good, bad. Like
Yeah, but there's so much like I don't know. I feel like you learn and like going to school or whatever, and then you unlearn so much.
oh man, you know what I just remembered speaking of Apex? Preposition wrap.
Never heard of
You've
it.
never heard
Did
that?
this produce Eminem?
Is this like from School
my
of
God,
Rock?
no,
Like conjunction junction type stuff?
The preposition wrap cannot be a bore. Used to be 33, now there's 34. Habitable. And I don't know how I remembered it. I had to remember this in 6th grade, but I remember that intro.
So it was like a legit rap, like you had to rap it.
Yeah, but it was preposition.
Yeah.
The whole entire thing. And then they were in alphabetical
Conjunction
order.
junction. What's your function?
Literally. Yeah, pretty much. But sorry.
No, it's okay. So I want to talk some more about the Backrooms because what we were talking about was how it's kind of hard to know where to go. It's hard to know where to start, how to figure out like what the fuck is the Backrooms, what does that mean? It's very SCP-esque.
Yeah.
What is SCP?
Oh, I'll show
Secure,
you, then you
contain,
can listen.
protect.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Oh, you do know about it?
I know of it.
Okay. So, Kane Parsons,
Epitome.
also known as Kane Pixels, he he put a lot of time in developing his version of the Backrooms. And his version of the Backrooms is what the movie is from. He's the director. He's the youngest director A24 has ever had. He's 19 years old, maybe 20 at this point. I don't remember. But he put a lot of effort into creating a good bit of content online using Blender and just like assets to make the beginnings of what we have now for the Backrooms. But his version, so like whenever we're watching a movie, which spoilers for the movie, by the way, guys, go watch it. I don't, at this point, I don't know why you haven't watched it yet. Go watch it. But whenever Mary,
Yeah.
whenever she's running through the Backrooms, or no, whenever Clark is running through the Backrooms and he's trying to like get away from whatever is chasing him, he goes through like so many different things. So we have like the office Backrooms, we have the pool Backrooms, and Christmas Backrooms.
Yeah.
There was like different sections.
Yeah.
Well, it was all kind of mushed together, whereas there are other people who have made their own lore that has to do with like levels.
Yeah.
So depending on what you want to believe, it can be different. But that's just like how creepypasta is generally.
Yeah, because the what little Backrooms I knew of was the levels.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's very popular, and there are a lot of games about it. So, ow, son of a bitch, that was my toe.
Sorry.
Don't do that. That
You
bad.
can't tell me what to do.
Okay, so on level 742, don't drink the water.
It is infinite, supposedly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have like the video games where there's like a ton of entities.
Yeah, and there's different. I think that was kind of something we were both interested in going into the movie. Was kind of like, where is this going to go? Is this going to be a? Obviously, we knew it wasn't going to be a peaceful Backrooms, but like, is it going to be a just kind of quiet? It's going to be a little chaotic. I mean, I think it's depicted so differently in different forms of video games and created videos and stuff.
The Backrooms is what you make of it.
It was interesting to see for me in a mechanical sense because this is obviously going to Kane Parsons' universe. And they've already announced that they're doing 2 more movies at a minimum. So it's kind of interesting to see what is canon at this point for Kane Parsons' universe of it, his depiction of it. Same thing with Star Wars Legends and canon. There's a lot of stuff that's Legends that's being brought to canon, which is, it's the same kind of vibe, same feel for me. So,
well, and I'm not saying that the Kane Parsons version is like the best one. There may be other ones that are better, or I know he's definitely thought it out very well. I mean, I don't even know which version is my favorite because I don't know enough to know that. But I think that the amount of work he put into creating because like he wasn't getting paid. It was a passion project. He was like, this is something that's really cool. I'm going to make it in Blender and I'm going to make videos.
well, he was like, what, 16?
Yeah, I think when he started.
Yeah.
Very impressive. I think just the commitment to that is.
As far as exposure of the Backrooms to like the general populace, it'll be interesting to see what he solidifies into his version of the Backrooms and kind of how he fleshes out, this world that most people are probably going to be getting into for the first time. So that'll be like their whole introduction into the entire lore will be through his lens view of it. And, it's kind of interesting to see how he's gonna flesh that out,
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be really cool. And there's a lot of different, we talked about earlier, Wendigoon, he had a interview with Kane Parsons, and he makes this joke about how he can't stand him because it's like psychological torture. But I think that Kane has a lot of interesting ideas. And he's definitely, to me, he is definitely like a true creative. And I really like that. So, this podcast is usually about books. Backrooms is not a book. We're going to get into the book now. It's called The Yellow Wallpaper. What do you guys think the connection might be
Aesthetics.
Spooky.
spooky. It's the wallpaper, guys, because
Oh,
the
literally.
backrooms are literally covered in yellow wallpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So this is what they call a zine or a zine.
Ziti?
Not quite. Have you guys heard that term before?
I
What's
have
that?
not. I've heard of a magazine.
No, it's just a zine.
Okay.
You're talking about the little pamphlet?
Yeah, this style. It's actually the only reason I pointed out is there's a lot of people who are like becoming zine specific artists. Really interesting. Anyway, I like collecting weird books. We've talked about this. This is kind of a weird book, but it says so. This is from A24, or at least I believe it was produced by A24. And the front says the yellow wallpaper and then Caden Parsons at the bottom. But the yellow wallpaper is a short story by Charlotte Perkins that was written like in the 1800s. And it is a story about a woman. And we'll get to more about that in a second. But this book specifically is like an accompaniment to the Backrooms, which I think is really, really cool. I haven't seen a director produce an accompaniment. I haven't seen a movie do something like this. It would be really cool. Like, I know you really like Interstellar. It would be fucking great if you could like have a book that is like the writings of the main character. It's very interesting. The front looks yellow, but it's also like a yellow green. And the back has the same wallpaper pattern, but it's almost like glitched out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the beginning. Very, very strange, very odd. It's just the first couple of pages. Everything, the typeset, which we know Tori likes a weird typeset, that's for sure.
House of Leaves.
God,
Yeah.
love that book.
Yeah,
I think back to the episode of House of Leaves and I'm like, Tori, you didn't even do it justice.
How can you do that book?
Yeah, because it is.
Can't. It takes 10 years.
Backrooms-esque.
Okay, so yes, a lot of people make connections between House of Leaves and the Backroom. See, that's the thing is like it's all coming together. So we have this little crazy typeset situation, and then we start with our story. Note the beautiful green that hurts your eyes. So, I said we start your story. This is actually a foreword by King Parsons that talks about the human brain and how we're structured. But his last line says, "We are, as a species, parsing wallpaper at an extraordinary scale." So at the bottom, it just says Kane Parsons, writer and director of the Backrooms. And I love these little side pieces because it's really hard to tell, like, these art pieces around the words. Kind of hard to tell what they are, but they look like little birds or little flowers, but they are like the little floral things you'd find in some things. Anyway, like a lot of older books, there's these giant like letters for some of the words.
Something you'd see in like a manuscript from like
Or a Bible.
Yeah.
It's usually the first word of a chapter.
You guys remember the SpongeBob?
Yeah, the...
I don't know how many people will get that, but
I'm doing it.
Jesus Christ. But so it doesn't start at each paragraph. It's kind of random which letters pop out within this book. Ooh, spoiler. Very strange. I'm sure so from my understanding, there's a bit of a puzzle going on here. And you know I love some puzzles. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's actually a puzzle or if people just think it is. But so like I showed you the typeset at the beginning. Whenever we're at like most of the pages, there's a little bit of glitchiness happening, but by the time we get to the end, the glitches are like hardcore.
prominent.
Another really cool thing is it comes with a piece of the map from the Backrooms.
Oh.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Won by the architect, princess.
Oh, also, this zine is $8.
That's fairly priced.
That's fairly priced.
In this economy?
In this economy. So, everyone go watch the Backrooms and then go buy the zine and then mail me your pieces of the map so I can have a full one.
Yeah, buy 3 of them. They're $8. I mean, come on.
Let's talk about the yellow wallpaper. Now we're going to get into the story. Again, this was actually written by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, but zine which the zine is a very interesting part, but I think that it's really important that this is the story that he wants to say, and I want to at the end kind of compare it to the last line of his foreword. So we're talking, the narrator, it's first person of a woman who obviously is in the time of when Charlotte would have been alive, and I think this was written 1890, something like that. So she is talking about going to this house for the summer. And she talks about how, it's kind of a coincidence that they're able to afford to summer in this really nice, really giant house. It's got gardens, it's got gates, it's got a delicious garden, as they say, or as she says. So she talks about this house and how wonderful it is and how beautiful it is, but she also thinks that it may be haunted. That's her first kind of evaluation.
Just check out.
Spooky. Yeah.
And she is taken there by her husband, John, and he's like very straight-laced. He doesn't believe in the supernatural. He shies away from superstition. And she goes to tell us about how she is sick, and her husband and her brother are doctors, and they're telling her it's light hysteria, along with a little bit of anxiety and depression, and no other doctors are willing to review her because her husband and her brother are in really good standing in the medical community. She says this line about her husband: "He is very careful and loving and hardly lets me stir without special direction." So I read that, and to me it sounds very controlling. And she follows that with, "I have a scheduled prescription for each hour in the day. He takes all care from me, and so I feel basically ungrateful not to value it more." So she is describing this very rigorous medical routine that she's being put through as a form of love and care by her doctor husband.
Bro is gaslighting her hard.
That's the vibe. So she's writing all of this down. She's talking about, them saying how it was just a happenstance that they were able to afford to stay here, and a little bit of an idea of why she's there, how she's unwell, how it's being called hysteria, how her husband...
Light hysteria
with a touch of anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
So, we find out that maybe it's more so postpartum because she has just had a baby. She goes on to talk about her living situation. She talks about the room. She says it's a big, airy room. It's nearly a whole floor that's dedicated to where she is staying. And one line that really caught me is it says, "It was nursery first and then playground and gymnasium, I should judge, for the windows are barred for little children and there are rings and things in the walls." This sounds like a dungeon to me. Hearing barred windows, rings and things in the wall is making me think of the things that they hook chains to.
There's a sex swing in the corner.
Hey, they're fixing the hysteria. So she goes on.
You do know what they prescribed for hysteria back in the day, right?
That's the joke.
Okay.
Patrick, do you know what they prescribed? A vibrator.
Oh, they would finger bang you until you were not hysterical.
That was a long time.
Correct.
Was that before or after the chainsaw child delivery?
Probably during.
During?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That was happening in the next room over.
So she goes on and she describes the room, which to me sounds like a bit of a torture chamber, but she kind of acts like...
But it's got nice pillows.
Yeah, she acts like it's really not that big of a deal. Obviously, she is medicated out the ass, but who's to care about that? She then goes into the wallpaper, and she cannot fucking stand it. It is...
Gaudy.
This yellow, ugly, just really upsetting wallpaper. And she also goes on... Well, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. It's just this really ugly yellow wallpaper. It's just like, this shit fucking awful.
Yeah. Bars on the windows, chain anchors everywhere. No, that's not. No, we're gonna focus on this wallpaper.
Well, like her bed is nailed down to the ground. It very much is giving asylum.
Mm.
So then she ends her entry with, "There comes John, and I must put this away. He hates to have me write a word." And that also very sketchy. But again, she's talking about how much he cares about her and, whatever.
How grateful she should be.
She should be, yeah. Then so her brother, her husband, and her woman in waiting, they insist that she needs rest. And she tells them, I think going out would do me some good. And her husband is like, absolutely not. You have to be well before you can get out of this house. But he says it in a very like calming, cooing, I'm going to take care of you, whatever. I wrote down in my notes, this man is feeding her pills every hour.
At least. Was it the mommy's little helpers?
Could have been. So she continues to talk about the wallpaper. She talks about how it has been scratched down in large swaths as far as she can reach. And it gives me this vision of her clawing at the walls, but maybe she can't remember due to like her hourly doses. Because she's talking about how much she hates this wallpaper, but then she's looking around and it's being torn from the walls, specifically as far as she can reach. I'm just thinking maybe she can't remember that she is the one tearing up the walls.
That's probably from the large doses of laudanum that he's giving her.
Perhaps. She talks about how John doesn't want her writing, but that he is off with more cases, and makes a note that she's grateful her case is not as serious as these other cases he's attending to. I don't think that's the case. I think she's unwell. So she talks then about how Mary is really good with the baby. Mary is who's helping her with the baby. And she specifically says, "It is fortunate Mary is so good with the baby, such a dear baby. And yet I cannot be with him. It makes me so nervous." And then she completely jumps into talking about John and then back to the wallpaper. It, to me, seems like it is definitely postpartum and she can't be alone with the baby. And that's what's triggered her lack of wellness that John is trying to take care of. She talks about how hard things are for her, but that John is satisfied that it is just her mind and not real sickness, quote unquote. She feels like a burden, but she acknowledges she can't do much more than what she currently does, which is exist in this room. She says that John doesn't want to change the wallpaper, even though she complains incessantly, because she needs to learn to stand these things. There's also a mention that there's a gate that locks access to the downstairs while he's listing off things that she may end up wanting changed if he was to give into her desire for different wallpaper. And he follows it up with, "I wouldn't want to renovate for 3 months' rent because they're supposed to just be summering at this place." And I start to think, like, where did they even find this place? Is she actually summering anywhere? Is she actually in an asylum and she just thinks that maybe her doctor is John, her husband, even though that's not even her husband?
That's a possibility.
Because
that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that John's not even her husband, but like a segmentation
could
of her
be.
imagination. Yeah.
Well, and
Segment of your imagination, I think.
why would like a random house that you're renting have a gate that locks off the lower half of the house?
Or a room with rungs on the wall.
Right.
Is this baby even still alive?
We don't know. So, because she does say that Mary's really good with the baby, right? And I made a note in my notes that said, I'm wondering if she's actually in a mental hospital and John is her doctor and she's making up most of this. So she continues to talk about the wallpaper. Again, it's constant throughout the book. It is called the yellow wallpaper. Then she starts to say that she finds that the wallpaper is actually becoming intriguing to John and Jenny because she's seen them also stare deeply when they don't think that she's looking. Now, she starts talking about Jenny. At the very beginning of the book, she says, "It is fortunate Mary is so good with the baby, such a dear baby." every time after this that she refers to a nanny, she calls them Jenny. I don't know what that means. I still haven't figured it out. The nanny is only called Mary once in the very beginning, and then after that, it's always Jenny. Jenny is the one cleaning. Jenny is the one that's good with the baby. I don't know. She starts describing the wallpaper more in depth than not just, like, how annoying it is. She says it's like 2 wallpapers, one on top of another, and she tries to separate them, but she can't do it. She says the top wallpaper is like bars, and behind the bars is a woman that moves around at night and tries to break free. She also describes grotesque appearances in the wallpaper, like detached hanging heads and bulging white eyes. So we're starting to, like, get a bit more into, like, madness feel.
Well, the wallpaper is kind of like a florally pattern. I'm sure you could probably look up what the yellow wallpaper cover looks like.
On this zine, yeah.
Right.
Which this is not what it looks like on the original book.
Okay. All right. So, but to me, the wallpaper is sounding like a Rorschach test to me, which they do at psych wards. I would know. I've been Rorschached before.
Hey, drop that lore, brother.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I had to explain to somebody what it is, in which I don't even have full understanding. But I have been sat through and been like, what does this look like to you? And judging on your analysis of what it looks like, it can determine your mental state or
What
perception.
does this look like to you?
It looks like a bride carrying flowers.
I see a woman, not necessarily a bride, but a woman in a dress, and she's in a cage of plant matter.
Fair enough. Interesting. So, in the book, she starts to describe the wallpaper as it is deteriorating, but not just the wallpaper, but the room. She says the wallpaper, as I said before, is torn off in spots and is sticketh closer than a brother. They must have had perseverance as well as hatred.
A brother.
Then the floor is scratched and gouged and splintered. The plaster itself is dug out here and there. And this great heavy bed, which is all we found in the room, looks as if it has been through the wars.
We're just going to skip over the incest.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Oh, you don't know what that means? The wallpaper sticks closer than a brother?
Hey.
They use really good glue.
Keep it in the family. Step bro, I'm stuck.
Could be. Unsure. Instructions unclear. Piston toilet.
Deep cut.
Correct.
So when she specifically describes the wallpaper, she says this wallpaper has a kind of sub-pattern in a different shade, a particularly irritating one, for you can only see it in certain lights and not clearly then. But in the places where it isn't faded and where the sun is just so, I can see a strange, provoking, formless sort of figure that seems to sulk about behind that silly and conspicuous front design. There's a sister on the stairs. And then she changes direction entirely. So I just showed you guys one of the pictures that to me also looks like a woman, and I think of the woman perhaps in the pattern that she is describing. But the next page in the zine is a pixelated version of the woman with a mini screen. Very interesting.
It's giving like Virgin Mary.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Especially the smaller, more detailed picture. She looks a lot like
The veiled woman.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a side profile of her face.
I suppose. It's up to your interpretation, but I think that's the whole point is the Rorschach test.
Mm.
It's also giving Assassin's Creed kind of vibes.
Yeah. When we accidentally skimmed through it earlier when you were showing the pages, it said, oops. It looked like the Leopleurodon from the...
The Leopleurodon, Charlie.
Yeah. The magical Leopleurodon.
And then when we have the next page, we see like there's a little bit of printing here in between the pages that looks like it is supposed to connect to something. And then we have, some more very large writing.
And a wilted asparagus.
Right. This very organic shape with no clue what it is. And it makes me wonder.
Looks to be like a root or a vine.
So you obviously would have to get multiple of these to get the full map.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think, do you have to get multiple of these to get the full
Snippets.
art? Yeah.
Then the 8 turned into $800.
Right. Because, like, what if this is, like, one part very large version of this?
I was just imagining somebody on like a Reddit forum posting them destapling their book and being like, I'm laying it all out. It's not looking like shit. Don't do it.
It
Well,
almost reminds me of those memes where it's like deep fried.
Oh, yeah.
Then the more you do it, the worse it looks.
Yeah.
So it's making me, like, part of me thought about maybe you come home and I've just got cutouts of the book taped with red thread all
Like
across
Charlie.
the
Yeah,
kitchen.
like the Charlie.
Yeah.
The Charlie meme from Sunny in Philadelphia.
She starts to get kind of excited at the idea of trying to free this caged woman in the wallpaper, right? She mentions that she doesn't want to tell John because at this point she's a little afraid of him. We don't really know why. Because in the very beginning, she acts like she is very grateful for everything he's doing, but
He's
now
doting on her. Yeah.
And now maybe she's getting the idea that, like, his lack of wanting her to write anything down or notate what's happening, maybe she gets an idea that might be not so great.
A little bit of Munchausen.
She also knows that they're supposed to be leaving soon, and as the time to depart the house grows near, she is more and more convinced that she has to get this woman out of the wallpaper before they leave.
It's a metaphor.
Maybe. At the final night, they were to stay there. And again, I'm not even sure if this is true, that this is like a summering house. I think this is probably a facility. John went into town, leaving the narrator to spend. By the way, we never learned the name of this woman.
Interesting.
We know the name of
everybody else,
but not her.
Well, not necessarily, because Mary turns into
Jenny,
so
which is interesting.
The unreliable narrator.
Yeah, I'm not wearing that hat today.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Magnus Archives hat.
Nice. Yeah, I think the Jenny to Mary swap is insinuating a false reality for this person.
Mm-hmm. Supporting the idea that this person does not know what is real and what isn't.
Yeah.
So at the final night that they were to stay there, John went into town, leaving the narrator to spend the night tearing at the walls with all of her might. She describes the horrid things she sees in the wallpaper, various fast-growing mushrooms, bobbing heads that swing up and down from broken necks, the woman sneaking under the bars. She notes that she thankfully removed this huge swath of wallpaper. And then I'm not sure if it's still the night of or the morning when the husband is supposed to be back, but she says Jenny comes up the stairs and sees that I'm not sure what time it is, but Jenny comes up the stairs and sees that the narrator has removed all of this wallpaper and basically destroyed this room more so than it already was. It makes a comment about how she would have done the same herself, basically insinuating that she didn't like the wallpaper either. Our narrator takes that very much to heart and makes a comment that no one will touch her wallpaper, not alive. We don't really know who they are. I'm assuming they're actually people who work at the facility, but the bourgeoisie, the birds, they remove all of the furniture from the room except for the bed that is nailed down. And she says it's to return the room to the state it was when they got there, since their tenancy is up. She decides then that she is going to lock herself in the room, and she starts saying that she is the woman who got out of the wallpaper bars.
You'll never take me alive, coppers.
This is the next page, or the next area, and you can kind of see, like, woman walking, right? And what looks maybe perhaps like bars.
Right.
And I know
I got a little bit of a plague mask from that weird top part.
Yeah, there is a strange...
Very bird-like.
Very bird-like. There is a strange... honestly, it's just strange. I'd really love to see the original picture.
What even is this?
So she locks herself in the room, and she starts saying that she is the woman that got out of the wallpaper bars, the woman that's been slinking around at night. John shows up and he's banging on the door, and she starts singing to him that the key is on the front walkway under a plant. She had thrown it out the window when she locked herself in this room. And he finally goes and gets it, and he comes back and he opens the door, and this room is completely in shambles. She has chewed through the mattress on the bed. She's ripped up the wallpaper, and she's created a divot in the wall from how she creeps around the room with her shoulder shoved against the perimeter of the room. He faints, I guess, from the sight, and she just continues to walk and steps over him and comments about how he's in the way, and she has to step over him as she moves. And that's the end of the story.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's a very short story. It's supposed to be per Charlotte, or at least per people who've talked about Charlotte's work, a insight into what women's postpartum and women's treatment of hysteria would have looked like back in the day.
Wouldn't recommend it.
Or would you?
It could be fun.
And she has a small about the author at the back of the book that says that she was an American novelist, poet, lecturer, and early advocate for women's rights. She wrote The Yellow Wallpaper in 1890 following her own experience with postpartum depression and the prescribed rest cure that was popular at the time. This book was designed and set by Natalie Shields with artworks by John Provencher. So artwork is really fucking cool.
It is very unique.
I have not seen something like this in a long time. So, yeah, it's no happy ending at all. It's just like, fuck, that really sucks. But it's a really interesting book, and whenever she goes into like the really grotesque things she sees in the wall, I think that's really cool. But I want to bring it back to the very end of what Kane Parsons said, which is, we are, as a species, parsing wallpaper at an extraordinary scale. Which is really interesting, because she was parsing the wallpaper in the story to free the woman, which ended up being herself. And so I wonder, but very cool idea. And that's the positive take of it, right? But also, this woman was insane, and destroying the wallpaper of the room was actually not of benefit to anyone. So I wonder what he actually means by that, and how this story, I mean, obviously, the Yellow Wallpaper, Backrooms, we can see connections there, but I wonder how specifically this story is indicative of what he is trying to create with the Backrooms.
I think it's like an ode to chase your fantasies, you know? Because, the downfall of insane people is the fact that they don't know that they're insane. They think that's the reality. But obviously, we're not insane because we're consciously reading a piece. And so, from a sane person's perspective, looking to an insane person, it's like, hey, yeah, this be crazy enough to fight for something that's not real, you know? Push and peel all the wallpaper off until you got what you want.
And also, too, it's kind of, when you're trying to portray madness, I feel like some authors get a lot closer to it than others. And that would resonate with somebody who's parsing through their wallpaper.
Yeah. I really she obviously, according to the About the Author, used her own experience as a reference. I'm sure this is a little bit more extreme, but I find it really interesting that the narrator was very convinced, especially from the beginning, this was someone trying to help her. Again, not even convinced that was actually her husband. But so we talked about something before we watched the movie, which was a through line of morality and what that actually looks like. In this book, we have the narrator we don't actually know. And then we have John, who is her quote unquote husband, but maybe a doctor. Definitely a doctor. She even says her husband's a doctor, but maybe like just her doctor. And then she also mentions her brother, which, now that you've brought up that thing about the brother, I think that might be a little bit more insidious than I thought originally. But then in the Backrooms, we have Clark, who is his own And interestingly enough, we also have Mary, who is a doctor herself. And in the Backrooms, she works through her own psychological turmoil, and Clark chooses not to work through his.
Well, I will say it said stuck like a brother and then sister on the stairs. That was
Which
the
is
next thing
weird
I heard after
because
that, because it's mentioning family names or like
familial relationships. Yeah.
she brings up a lot in the short story that she wants to go see her cousin Henry and her cousins Henry and Julia. And she'll just repeat that. And she's really trying to get John to let her out of this room. She's like, I think going outside could be good for me. And he just absolutely refuses to let her see anyone or let her out. She's got a strict regimen. I don't know. He could just be like, I'm just trying to figure out something to do for A24. Guess I'll do the yellow wallpaper. Here's some cool artists. Throw them some money. And maybe it's in public domain, so he's like, that'll work.
Or maybe it's just something that he had read before and really enjoyed, and it made him inspired to create something. Because it's a very, I'm not going to say it's devoid of emotion, but it's a very visual book, from my understanding. From what I can read, it's very visceral, it's descriptive, it's creating a visual.
Well, it's almost like a visage, because you're looking, or visage, however you like to say it, because you're reading the book. Huh?
Visage?
Visage?
It must be Italian.
It must be. As you're reading the book, if you were to take it at face value, if you were to think that the narrator was 100% truthful with everything she says, you would think this isn't that bad, but then really weird. But if you take context clues and you figure out, okay, well, this is probably not real, this is probably a little different than it's being described, that's when you can kind of look back and see, like, oh, I really like the book.
Yeah, the book is cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I really like the movie.
Yeah,
I really like watching the YouTube stuff. You know what? I've actually figured out that I am just a puzzle bitch. If there is a puzzle, I like it.
Past tense or just puzzles? I thought you said a puzzled bitch. I'm a puzzled bitch.
Now, I'm a puzzled bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up.
I mean, yeah, that too.
I think, and film director stuff, or not film director stuff, but like film critic stuff, and me is one, very happy at the indie film industry right now. Just absolutely kind of, I say indie film. It was by A24 and Kane Parsons, but A24 is a big studio, yes, but Kane Parsons, this was his first real gig with making full-blown movie, mainstream at least, to the common household. But I really love the fact that there are indie ideas or directors coming out making stuff. I'm specifically talking about Backrooms and Obsession. Obsession was, what's his name?
I'm unsure.
Can I remember the director's name? He used to do comedy skits. I didn't know I knew he did the comedy skits. That's where I recognized him from, but I was...
Oh, yeah. Is it the same dude that did Talk to Me?
No, it's not.
No,
Those
it's a
are
different
brothers.
I know, but I didn't know if it was just one of them.
Give me 1 second. I gotta look up his name because it's right on the tip of my tongue.
What's he doing on the tip of your tongue?
Curry Barker is his name. Curry Barker did a bunch of comedy skits, and that's where I personally knew him from. I didn't really hear... maybe it's because I'm not listening as hard.
I think also it just depends on what gets advertised to you.
That's my big thing, is I'm not actively seeking information to go out. I've been kind of ruined by the whole marketing infrastructure that's been built up by Meta and all this other BS. So I'm not actively going out and looking at, hey, what are the new horror movies of 26, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because I think no.
I forgot I have to show Kody that.
Yeah, unfortunately you do.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate missing some gems and then hitting them at home or just stumbling across them. I don't like that for the directors that deserve it, though, because honestly, if anything, if anybody, especially somebody like Curry Barker, who's in a indie aspect on things, they need good profit in the box office. They deserve it. Everything that Obsession got, it deserves. It is overhyped to a degree. I will agree with that, but that's not a bad thing. It's very well done. I recommend it. I think me and Kat had a conversation, or she was making a remark about her vote on it out of 5 stars. She gave it 3.5, but she was like, I'm very rough on stuff. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I did probably rate it higher when it initially dropped, but I still really like it. It's still one of my, I would put it in top 10 horror for me personally.
Wow, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, Obsession's good, but the thing about it is, Obsession was a completely different form of horror than Backrooms.
Yeah.
Backrooms wasn't jump scary, but it was like just
A lot of people are
unsettling.
actually kind of like grouping them together.
Well, that's what I think is unfair, is the fact because they were released at the same time. I feel like people are grouping them together, but it's a completely different, in my personal opinion.
It's apples to oranges.
The Backrooms was, I'm not going to say it was a slow burn, but it wasn't a slow burn. It was a slow burn in the sense that he really created the just ominous, quiet, spacious reality that is the Backrooms.
And that takes an unnecessary amount of buildup.
Right. So I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job also making it accessible to
was-
people who don't really.
I was perfectly fine with the pacing of it. Like
Yeah.
I felt like it was really well done. Really well done.
Watching it a second time, even more impressed, honestly.
Yeah,
But honestly, I should probably.
But interesting flip flop, right? So since they're comparing Backrooms to Obsession, if I'm not mistaken, I could be 100% wrong. I haven't looked at the numbers, but I know that Obsession had a second upwind, which is usually not typical of movies. Usually the box office opening weekend is their biggest hit, and then it slowly, gradually falls down. Obsession had a rise up after the second weekend.
I think there was maybe a marketing fail there. Because a lot of people who really loved the movie didn't even know it existed until it was out.
Here's my
It
thing.
did get memed to death also.
It did, but so
that was part of my failure to respond to the movie, because I had already seen nearly every clip from the movie before I went to go see it, which is why I want to see Backrooms on opening day.
Well, here's my take on that as to why that came up and why I feel like public opinion received Obsession a lot easier than Backrooms. For one, you get the action from the get-go. It was much more fast. I'm not going to say fast-paced. It was like a reverse slow burn. It punched initially after the first 15, 20 minutes, and then it continued that same feeling throughout.
Yeah.
And without spoiling anything, that's what it was. But Backrooms was, you experienced the Backrooms early on, but nothing really
substantial happens.
Action-y happens until the end, and then it just like pops up. Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys for sitting here and listening to me ramble about yellow wallpaper and weird rooms and dreams.
Anytime, just not every time.
It's been real, and it's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. You know what I'm saying?
Lies.
It's been real scary. I'm scared. How am I supposed to sleep?
Oh, you're gonna sleep good.
How
I can
much
already tell.
dedicated WAP do I need to run my Minecraft server?
That would be you 100% at the con.
No doubt.
Well, yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed this foray into madness.
Yeah, if you guys have any weird dreams, make sure to tell me about them.
I forget all my dreams.
Yeah, but we're gonna fix that because we're gonna start writing them down.
Dream journal.
Start recording them.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get that neural
sleep of or what is it?
Stream of consciousness.
Stream of consciousness as soon as you wake up. All right, thank you guys. And I know we say we're gonna update or send to upload every week. We don't. It's a lie. Sorry. But
the cake is a lie.
We do the best we can with what we have. Maybe one day this will be our job and we can be more committed. But as of right now, we got other jobs to do. All right.
So if you like this content and want more of it, please, support the channel and tell your friends.
Yeah. And if you have an idea of what you want to do, you can always shoot us an email. All right. Bye-bye, beans.
Goodbye, beans.
Bye beans.
Heyo! It's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard, give us a follow to get your weekly dose of beansplaining. Drop a review wherever you get your podcasts and let us know how we're doing. If you have any questions, complaints, or recommendations, please reach out to rinleyworks@gmail.com. That's RINLEEWORKS@gmail.com. Bye bye, beans.